The current world #1 golfer, Scottie Scheffler, recently dropped a statement so bold that the entire golf world has been buzzing ever since. One line, one carefully measured comment, and suddenly, the PGA Tour, the century-old powerhouse of professional golf, felt a ripple that could shift the very foundations of the sport. This isn't the kind of statement that just makes headlines for a day. This is a line that has players, insiders, and fans debating fiercely, questioning not just the money, the events, or the rankings, but the very direction professional golf is heading. Today, we're breaking down exactly what Scheffler said, why it matters, and how it's shaking the PGA Tour to its core. Athletes always talk. Golfers always talk. But rarely does a player speak in a way that forces the sport's ruling structure to pause and think twice. Not everyone has the clout to drop words with this kind of weight. It takes someone at the peak of the game, someone whose record, reputation, and presence demand attention. And that's where Scottie Scheffler enters the conversation. But before we dive into the bombshell statement, let's take a step back and understand the man behind the headlines. Who is Scottie Scheffler? Born on June 21st, 1996, Scheffler has quietly grown into one of the most dominant golfers of his generation. He's not flashy off the course, doesn't chase the media, and doesn't rely on spectacle. But on the course, that's a different story. Scheffler's connection to golf didn't appear overnight. It was built painstakingly from a young age. Introduced to the game by his father, he began playing junior golf at just 5 years old, learning the habits, discipline, and consistency that would define his career. No shortcuts, no overnight hype, just steady, focused work. By the time he reached high school, Scheffler's name was already creating a buzz. He wasn't just a promising talent. He was proving himself in tournament after tournament. That momentum carried him into college, where he competed for the University of Texas at Austin from 2015 to 2019. There, he honed his skills, sharpened his mental game, and stacked wins with serious, unwavering focus. Turning pro didn't come with fireworks or bold announcements, but the results were immediate. When Scheffler stepped onto the PGA Tour, players noticed. He wasn't flashy. He didn't seek headlines. He didn't speak out of turn. He simply won, and quietly, relentlessly, week after week, he kept proving himself. Leaderboards became familiar territory for his name. His calm demeanor under pressure made him an invisible threat. Big crowds, major tournaments, final round nerves, none of it seemed to faze him. Other players tense up under these conditions, but Scheffler moved like the moment belonged to him. That kind of mindset, in a sport where mental fortitude is everything, is dangerous. It forces competitors to adjust, second guess, and often make mistakes. Inside locker rooms, Scheffler's presence is equally intimidating. Players have talked privately about how he doesn't give openings, how he waits patiently for mistakes, and how his clean, disciplined play leaves no room for opponents to capitalize. He's not an aggressor, not a provocateur, just a precise, calculating presence that quietly reshapes the competition. By the time Scheffler reached world #1, it felt less like an achievement and more like destiny unfolding. There were no dramatic celebrations, no boisterous speeches, just dominance, consistency, and presence. And when a player at that level speaks, people listen. This is why his recent words had such an immediate, seismic impact. Scheffler earned his PGA Tour card for the 2019 to 2020 season and quickly began stacking results that turned heads. Since then, he's logged multiple dominant runs and held the official world golf ranking #1 spot for a total of 34 weeks. His first stint at the top came in March 2022, with a record-setting reign of 29 consecutive weeks through October 2022. That consistency isn't luck, it's mastery. Scheffler's game relies on lethal iron play, a short game that can handle any lie, and a putter that never wavers. Unlike other players known for off-course theatrics, Scheffler is drama-free, pure focus, and business on the course, which only intensifies the impact of his dominance. Because of this calm image, many assumed he would always stay quiet and obedient, a perfect face for tradition and old-school golf values. No headlines, no emotional bursts, just fairways and flags. And that's exactly why his recent statement caught everyone off guard. When someone this controlled speaks up, it lands differently than emotional rants or trash talk. It's measured, deliberate, and unmistakably serious. Insiders, commentators, and fans could sense that something meaningful was brewing. Behind the scenes, the PGA Tour has been walking a fine line. There's tension, there's frustration, and there's change bubbling quietly out of public view. Players discuss, agents negotiate, and simmering dissatisfaction grows, but many stars avoid speaking publicly, knowing that controversy can have career consequences. Scheffler, however, did not shy away. He addressed the issue head-on, fully aware of the weight his words would carry. That's the power of being world number one. The moment his statement dropped, reactions came fast and furious. Fans debated online, media scrambled to interpret, and insiders leaned in for details. Some praised his honesty. Others said he crossed an invisible line, but nobody ignored him. The message was clear. When the top player questions the system, the conversation shifts instantly. So, what was the subject? LIV Golf, the league that has been shaking up the traditional golf order. For anyone paying attention, the LIV Golf series has caused significant tension in the sport. Unlike the PGA Tour's traditional 72-hole tournaments, LIV runs shorter 54-hole events with only 48 players, flipping the standard model on its head. On top of that, the prize money is astronomical massive payouts that far surpass many PGA events. The combination of huge money and smaller fields has made LIV an undeniable temptation for many players. A central controversy is where LIV funding comes from. Backed by Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, the league represents massive financial power moving into professional golf. Critics argue that this influx is about influence and image control, while supporters frame it as money pursuing opportunity. Either way, the debate is loud, and the tension refuses to fade. Despite criticism, some of golf's biggest names have joined LIV, including Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, Bubba Watson, Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka, Sergio Garcia, Henrik Stenson, Patrick Reed, and more. The lineup is stacked, forcing the PGA Tour to respond in unprecedented ways. In reaction, the PGA Tour implemented strict measures. Any player appearing in LIV events face bans from PGA Tour competitions, and even affiliated events like the Ryder Cup. Some call these measures desperate, others call them necessary. But the message was clear. Loyalty was mandatory. The tour also countered with incentives, boosting purses to compete with LIV payouts. Some events jumped to $20 million, with the Players' Championship reaching a staggering $25 million. They even introduced an earnings assurance plan, guaranteeing players who competed in at least 15 events a minimum of $500,000 for the season, regardless of leaderboard position. On paper, these moves seemed strong: more money, tighter control, and a promise of financial security. But behind the scenes, reactions were mixed. Some players appreciated the stability. Others saw it as pressure disguised as opportunity. The PGA Tour had traditionally relied on legacy, tradition, and prestige. Now, money was front and center, and it was reshaping dynamics fast. This tension created a space for someone with real influence to speak up. Scheffler, sitting at the top, used his platform to address these changes not as a rebel, not as a defector, but as a voice of reason from the peak. His words didn't attack, threaten, or posture. He questioned direction, balance, and the long-term health of professional golf. And because he delivered them calmly, deliberately, without emotion, they hit harder than any rant could have. Scheffler's statements revealed something deeper, a growing tension between control and freedom in golf. Players want choice, stability, and respect, not just giant paychecks. And when the world number one says this out loud, it forces reflection across the sport. This isn't about picking sides. It's about acknowledging a reality the PGA Tour can't ignore. Golf is no longer static, and pretending otherwise won't stop change. Many of the PGA Tour's recent policies mimic aspects of LIV Golf. And, in some ways, they're working. Some golfers, like Spanish star Jon Rahm, have openly credited these changes to their successes, including his 2023 Masters victory. Rahm even commented that improvements could have come sooner, potentially preventing the exodus of top players to LIV. This shows how pressure can force rapid, sometimes overdue, evolution. However, not all changes sit well. One major point of contention is the removal of cuts in select events. Cuts have been part of golf for decades. separating the consistent grinders from pretenders. Eliminating them changes the sport's identity, and Scheffler has been one of the most vocal skeptics. The PGA announced a 2024 schedule with 8 designated events featuring limited field 70 to 80 players and no traditional 36-hole cut. While some, like Rory McIlroy and Max Homa, support the plan, Scheffler expressed caution, emphasizing that cuts matter for the game's soul. He explained his view in practical terms. In stack weeks, missing the cut can feel cleaner than grinding through poor rounds, especially ahead of a major. If we're going to have an elevated event the week before a major with no cut, and I play 2 terrible rounds, sometimes you'd rather just say, take me out of the tournament, let me reset. Statements like this from the world number 1 sparked debate instantly. Scheffler's opinion aligns with veteran players like Ryan Armour, who worry that the no-cut format may disproportionately favor top-tier players while sidelining grinders. Armour breaks it down. A player finishing 75th in points could be excluded from the most lucrative, high-profile events despite consistent performance, creating frustration and resentment. This is the part many miss. The no-cut system isn't about greed. It's about survival. Golf careers are short, and windows of opportunity are tight. When players feel structurally boxed out, their loyalty naturally shifts. Scheffler's words serve as both a critique and a warning, a calm signal highlighting a systemic imbalance that could have serious consequences if left unchecked. The PGA Tour is attempting to evolve, but evolution always comes with risk. If they misjudge the balance between protecting stars and supporting the broader field, the fallout could be massive. Scheffler didn't yell, didn't posture, and didn't threaten. He simply spoke plainly. And sometimes those calm, measured words create the largest ripple effects. As Scheffler continues to perform at the top, his influence goes beyond trophies and rankings. He's shaping a conversation about the future of professional golf, fairness, and opportunity. His statement isn't just a headline. It's a reflection of growing tensions and a reminder that the sport must navigate change carefully. So, what does this mean for fans and the future of golf? The landscape is shifting rapidly. Players, sponsors, and fans are all reassessing priorities, evaluating loyalty and weighing opportunity. LIV Golf has already changed expectations around prize money, event structure, and player freedom. The PGA Tour is trying to respond, but balancing tradition with modern incentives is tricky. Scheffler's voice brings this tension to the forefront, forcing the sport to reckon with its evolving identity. For fans, it's an unprecedented moment. The quiet, methodical, focused number 1 in the world is speaking out not in anger, not in rebellion, but with authority and insight. His words challenge assumptions, encourage dialogue, and raise questions that will affect golf for years to come. The subtle power of Scheffler's message is that it wasn't just commentary, it was a blueprint for reflection and debate, and the world is listening. So, are you on Scheffler's side, agreeing that the no-cut format and evolving tour structure need scrutiny? Or do you think he's overthinking, missing the bigger picture of growth and modernization? Either way, his voice matters, and it's clear that professional golf is at a crossroads. The world number 1 isn't just swinging clubs, he's shaping the future of the sport itself. If you love untold stories and behind-the-scenes drama in golf, make sure to subscribe to Golf Mode TV, because we bring the inside scoop every single week. This is a conversation that's just beginning, and with voices like Scottie Scheffler's leading the discussion, golf's next chapter promises to be as dramatic as any final round showdown.